A guy accidentally mistook his blind date for a client. Hey, can you settle up the coaching fee for today? Without hesitation, the guy transferred 520 yuan. Fine, whatever. Did you really have to make it such a wacky number? Gu Yao was a top student at a music conservatory, and right now she was under serious pressure from her mom to get paid. She'd already been on quite a few blind dates. One guy started pitching retirement plans the second day. Another showed up with nails painted in the most outrageous hot. Then there was the one who looked totally put together at first, until he bent over and you could see a lace thong poking out. That day her mom had found yet another perfect match, that insisted she had him on Wei Chen chat a bit first. She barely sat down in her room when a new friend request popped up. Her blind date was overseas, so he probably wouldn't be adding her right now. So this person had a total middle-aged puff-up picture. Probably a parent from one of her afternoon coaching sessions. Gu Yao's eyes lit up. Must be someone coming to pay extra for more lessons. Hi, I'm Liang Dang. I'm just a year older than you. Gu Yao thought back to when they first met. Give me a break. You look old enough to be my dad. Still, she had to be nice to someone paying her. After trading a bunch of memes back and forth, Gu Yao finally couldn't hold back. It's getting late. How about we settle the bill? What bill? Today's coaching fee. She waited 2 minutes with no reply. Was he really trying to scam? He didn't transfer the money until the next. Double the fee. Sure, fine. But why make it such a weird number? Not that any of that mattered, because now she could finally buy the electric violin she'd been dreaming about. Thank you so much, you're incredibly generous. Next time you'll have to give me a little more time though. Practice makes perfect. A little while later her phone buzzed. The guy was asking if she'd had dinner yet. Gu Yao was totally confused. Why is he still texting? Whatever, he's the one paying, might as well chat a little more. The two of them kept chatting on and off all the way until dinner. Liang is well off and only has one younger sister. You two really need to put in the effort to get to know each other. How am I supposed to do that? It's probably a time difference. He's probably just trying not to bother you. Oh really? That's actually really sweet. Meanwhile, Liang Dong had just put his phone down when his sister suddenly messaged him, sending someone money right after you just met them. Something feels off about this whole thing. Then she immediately launched a video call. Liang Dong fumbled around forever trying to figure out how to answer. Yep, he was exactly the technophobia everyone said he was. What a waste of such a ridiculously handsome face. His sister was yawning when she said, yesterday when you asked me how to send money, I nearly had a heart attack. He actually accepted. He waited 22 hours to accept. Well then just sit, thank you. He seems like a really reserved guy. Great, a man of few words dating someone reserved. Are you two gonna bore each other to death? After hanging up with his sister, Liang Dong used Gu Yao's contact info to find his social media profile. It was full of his interests and hobbies. Just then, a new post from him popped up. You asked what I'm up to. 好更胖，我们这次有看电0度几，又最大。I felt that one a little too hard, almost made me sick. Liang Dong's jaw dropped. Reserve my foot, I'm taking that back now. What do you do when you mistake your blind date for a creepy OG? And go ahead and block him. Gu Yao used the bonus from her sugar daddy to buy an electric violin, and posted about it on social media to show off. Never sent a friend request, whatever. But the first one to like her post was her sugar daddy. Common courtesy is a must. So, Gu Yao liked his latest post right back. I'm in class right now. Yeah, bored? None of your business. But she couldn't afford to yell on her sugar daddy's bad side, so Gu Yao kept it polite. History of string music wall-to-wall text. Just looking at it gives me a headache. You feel okay? Go get it checked out. That's okay, no. Don't you ever fall asleep reading books like that? Nope. Gu Yao rolled her eyes, immediately picturing some balding middle-aged guy hunched over a book. Just then her phone buzzed. She opened it, and oh boy, another red envelope. She still had a 2-hour practice session today. When she arrived, Gu Yao kept looking over her shoulder, terrified she'd run into her sugar daddy around the next corner. Only after she shut the practice room did she breathe a sigh of relief. Even the 6-year-old kid noticed he was distracted and called him out. Hey, what are you staring at? Nothing, just checking out to pick up some decorating ideas. The little brat scoffed. You couldn't afford a house anyway. No wonder this kid played violin like nails on a chalk. Every bit of artistic talent got swallowed up by that sharp little mouth. Whether I can afford a house is none of your business. What matters is you need to practice. Gu Yao saw so much of her younger self in him, and smiled, asking why he was learning if he didn't even like it. My useless dad forced me to. Thinking about that pretentious father of his, Gu Yao nodded. Fair enough. Well, can't you just tell your mom you don't want to learn? Mom's never home. And when she is, she just fights with dad. Gu Yao froze the moment she heard that. No wonder he introduced himself with a big cash gift. The moment this kid mentioned his parents fighting, it all clicked. So my sugar daddy has a thing for me, and wants to be my actual sugar daddy. After rapping, Gal got home and splashed cold water on her face. So this is what they mean by being too attractive for your own good. It's all her fault for being this good looking. She attracts everyone. No way she was claiming that red. She even wanted to return the earlier one. But what about her beloved electric violin? If she returned it and bought another one later, it wouldn't be the same instrument. Who, it's that shameless old man's fault. He's got a wife and a kid, and he's out here hitting on decent people. And Gu Yao realized calling him shameless was letting him off easy. This guy actually had the nerve to text her. Still got a headache. It was fine, until I heard from you. Why? You know why? A few minutes before he replied, why? I don't know. Gu Yao was about to lose it. Every word I'm sending you right now is being typed with my middle finger. Impressive. Gu Yao was completely speechless. Typical out-of-touch old man totally missed the joke. She lay in bed for a while, calming herself down, then finally sat up and got ready to give this old man a piece of her mind. But he beat her to it and texted first. You don't have to be so formal with me. I'm not who you think I am. You better watch yourself. I'm sorry, maybe I came on too strong. I just thought we could get to know each other on a deeper level. That hit Gu Yao like a bolt out of the blue. Our guys out here using fancy language to be creeps now. Straight to the blacklist you go. After blocking the old man, Gu Yao went to grab something. She did not see it coming. Her mom hit her with a reality check. Why did you go and block him? No way, I never block people first. Her mom handed over the phone. He's a good, honest guy. and he almost took his phone in to get repaired. Gu Yao still wasn't buying it. He never even eyed me, okay? How could I have blocked him? But the next second, her jaw dropped. Wait, this guy is actually my blind date. He mistook his blind date for some creepy older guy hitting on him, and went ahead and blocked him. Gu Yao was so stressed out his violin playing sounded like a cat being strangled. Then, riding that wave of impulse, he unblocked his blind date. It was 1:30 in the afternoon in the capital, and his blind date was overseas, different time zone. There was no way he'd get a reply anytime soon, which meant the awkwardness would sort itself out. Gu Yao had it all figured out perfectly. He carefully sent a pouty sorry not sorry emoji. He never expected his blind date to reply instantly. Talk about walking straight into an awkward situation. Liang, the world's most tech illiterate guy, was actually something else. He'd assumed his phone was broken since he wasn't getting any message. He'd already grabbed a heating pad and a screwdriver, and was about to crack open his phone to fix it, when suddenly it buzzed. When he saw it was a message from Gu Yao, he put his glasses back on to double check. Yep, no question, Gu Yao had unblocked him. Liang Dong had no idea messages could be unset, so he tapped. Sorry, wrong button. He waited a solid 2+ minutes before getting a careful reply. I'm the one who should apologize. Did I wake you? That heavy suffocating feeling in his chest just vanished. By all logic, he should have demanded to know why the guy had been ignoring him. But Liang Dong just froze for a long moment, as if something came over him. He didn't expect the other guy to open
Firing
up
off
like
messages
that.
like a machine gun.
I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. I didn't block you on purpose. I acted without thinking. I should have asked first. Your phone's fine. I'm the one who messed up. Why'd you go quiet? Watching the messages pop up one after another, head was spinning. He typed back, it's fine. If it's fine, then why are you still up so late? Holding the phone he'd nearly taken apart. Liang Dong thought for a while before making something up. Said he was working on a paper. But Gu Yao still wasn't satisfied. Then go ahead and block me back. Why? Because I yelled at you and blocked you first. You already unblocked me. That's enough. Only then did Gu Yao breathe a sigh of relief. But I still took your red envelope money. That was my fault. I thought you were one of my student parents. But my account is empty right now. I'll pay you back when my next paycheck hits. The guy would probably get annoyed, so he changed the subject and asked. It's an emoji of someone bawling their eyes out like a wide-open crying face. Liang Dong's heart suddenly sank, thinking Gu Yao was actually crying. He was trying to figure out how to comfort him. When 3 messages came in back to back, the crying emoji on WeChat is so ugly I had to type it out manually. My name's Gu Yao, 1 year younger than you. Basically the same age, let's get along well from here on out. The two of them wrapped up their first real conversation on a happy note. As Gu Yao relaxed and drifted off to sleep, he had no idea that just a few earlier, in the help thread he posted on the forum, asking how to apologize and get someone to cool down fast, one commenter had left a lucky little prof. He won't be mad at you. Anyone who's been on a lot of blind dates know, there's something really special about being careful by someone your own age, especially when the other person is a little more mature. It gives you this warm, fatherly kind of feeling. But love doesn't pay the bills, and Gu Yao still had to go teach her little terror of a student. Can you slow it down a little? The little brat shot her a look, and said, you're just trying to drag this out so you can clock out later, aren't you? That drove Gu Yao absolutely crazy. I haven't even been paid for the extra time from last session. But when it was time to leave, she didn't have the heart to bring it up. The kids' parents were never home, and honestly, that was kind of sad. Whatever, she just called it charity work. It was only then that Gu Yao remembered her blind date. She opened the chat app and sent a message first. Hey, have you yet? Yeah, just finished teaching a class. What about you? Did you have dinner? Gu Yao read the reply and was completely speechless. She tapped on that ancient profile picture. Seriously, this dad was only a year older than her. He acted like he was her dad's generation. She was just about to type something back when the driver suddenly yanked the wheel to make a turn. She instinctively clenched her fist around her foe, and once the car settled, she breathed a sigh of relief, only to realize she'd accidentally sent a long voice message. She frantically hit unsend and then typed, sorry my bad, hit the wrong button. No worries. Also, you can unsend messages. Gu Yao couldn't help but laugh. Of course you can. Just long press the message bubble and you'll see it. Sure enough, a moment later Liang Dong sent a random number. Then unsent it and replied, got it, thanks. This whole way of talking felt really awkward to Gu Yao, so she gently nudged him. Hey, we met for a reason. No need to be so formal with me. Worried he might not get what she added. I mean the way you're addressing me. She was about to suggest he just call her Xiao Gu or Gu, when her phone buzzed and pulled her out of her thoughts. Leo, is that okay? Gu Yao's heart started pounding like crazy. This wave of happiness just washed over her out of nowhere, and she shyly typed back, sure that worked. Though if you yell that out on the street, odds are a dog's gonna come running. No way. It's a beautiful name. Gu Yao was only halfway through typing reply when she heard a little swoosh, and an 11-second voice message came through. She blinked in disbelief, then carefully tapped on the voice message. The first couple seconds were just background noise. Never sent a voice message before. His voice was deep and smooth, and the faint breath sounds tickled her ears. He started by saying her full name, Gu Yao, then said Lil in this warm, affectionate. His rich, velvety voice was on loop in Gu Yao's head. She picked up her phone and typed, okay, hearing it like that, I gotta say my parents really nailed. Then she pulled her earbuds out. Her ears were red and a little warm. She touched them and told herself, it's definitely just the heater in this car running too hot. The guy was only a year younger than his blind date, but the two of them were total opposites. Gu Yao was a hopeless romantic, while Liang Dong was a cold stone-faced pretty boy with zero personality. 9 o'clock in the morning, right on schedule, like clockwork. That wooden block was about to check in again. Good morning, it's cold out. Stay hydrated. Gu Yao's good mood for the day just vanished into thin air. Yesterday he was calling him Lel, and now it's back to this cold. Gu Yao stormed off to the forum to vent. Does this oblivious dude think I'm some kind of automated check-in machine? The comments were all in agreement. This guy was a 1 in a million emotionally clueless straight dude, except for one comment that stood out. This person thought that before were official. Using formal language was the right call. Gu Yao was totally lost. How do you even know that? Just a guess. Thinking back, given how old-fashioned that guy was, maybe that really was his reasoning. But with it making it official even me, was this some kind of new scam? That afternoon, Gu Yao had mentioned going out for hot pot with his parents. 3 hours later, Liang Dong figured they were probably done eating. He was just about to text Gu Yao when his little sister suddenly popped up with a video call. The second it connected, she let out a shriek. Bro, you look insanely hot in those glasses. Liang Dong wasn't very nearsighted. He just wore glasses out of habit when he raged. He was about to take them off, but his sister wasn't having it. Don't you dare. Keep them on. Total sexy professor vibes. She happily took a screenshot. Dress like this when you meet my future sister. He won't be able to keep it together. Liang Dong flatly pointed out that he wasn't his sister. And besides, he doesn't seem to be into my type. His sister was puzzled. Well, what is he into then? Liang Dong thought about the photo of the buff guy Gu Yao had posted on the forum. He quietly opened the shopping to check if the dumbbells he'd ordered 2 days ago had shipped. His sister was still rambling on. Want me to do some digging for you sometime? Liang Dong shut that down flat. I'll handle things between him and me myself. They chatted for a few more minutes, then hung up. Not long after, Liang Dong got a chance notification from Gu Yao for 520 yuan. He stared at it for a while and hadn't even replied, when a voice message came in. Payday. I'm here to pay back, babe. The smell of booze practically came through the phone. Liang Dong was worried he wasn't safe, so he asked if he was home. I'm not out partying, okay? I'm drinking at home with my lovely mom and dad. And for the record, Gu Yao am not even that kind drunk, of guy. My vibe is completely on point. Knowing he was home, Liang Dong felt relieved. But before he could reply, Gu Yao sent another voice message. Why aren't you saying anything? Are you scared to talk to me? And how come you stopped calling me Liang? He was whining and being pouty about it. Liang Dong had no choice. He held down the voice button. Say it again. Gu Yao bossily demanded to hear it a few more times. Liang Dong didn't totally get what he meant, but he went along with it and said it a few more times. Once he'd had his fill, Gu finally sent a satisfied voice. Why thank you kindly? His tone was light and breezy, and the unspoken sweetness in it made the corners of mouth curl upside. Then all of a sudden, Gu Yao's voice shifted. He sounded a little down. Hey, Saw, you know about going abroad? I'll really go abroad. Is it cold over there? What am I supposed to do about that? Over there in a few months. It'll be spring by then, so it won't be cold. Are there gonna be sketchy people there? Liang Dong could tell something was bothering him. After a moment, he said every place has people with bad intentions, but I won't let you run into any of them. Get some sleep. Texting your date while drunk is a nightmare. Even scarier, waking up with zero memory of what you said. Gu Yao grabbed her phone and started scrolling frantic. When she saw she sent over a dozen voice messages, she wanted to crawl into a hole and die. She'd been talking to a blind date she'd never even met, acting all big and tough, and shamelessly bragging about how amazing she was. Worse, she pressured him into a voice call, and then ended up going full baby mode on him. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She'd made the poor guy say Lil 7 whole times. Gu Yao sat there completely zoned out and somehow finished, then stumbled onto the bus to school in a total day. I must have been out of my mind. There's no way I said all that embarrassing stuff. That wasn't me. Right on schedule, same time as every day. His good morning text came in like clockwork. Gu Yao stared at the hello sitting in the chat box. She was so embarrassed she could barely function. She was terrified that if she replied, he'd bring up the whole drunk disaster from last night. Best to just let it quietly pass, leave no trace. Class was boring as usual. Gu Yao sneaked onto her phone and browsed the forum for entertainment. She even posted something, asking people online how to put a name on a guitar. Someone suggested using a crayon to avoid damaging the wood by carving into it. Gu Yao felt like she recognized that user, so she followed up asking if mixing the colors was hard. She didn't expect him to just send over a full tutorial. She thanked him and tried to strike up a conversation. Oh, your account is pretty new. Want you to make friends or find a date? Why? Just trust me on this one. Finding a date on you is even more of a shot in the dark in the blind. Dong felt a little jolt in his chest when he read that. What's wrong with blind dates? Since this person wasn't anyone she knew in real life, Gu Yao didn't bother holding back, being pushed into something when you're clearly not a match. How do you know you're not a match if you haven't tried? But every time I talk to him, it feels like I'm talking to someone's dad. Family setups are usually close in age. Yeah, he's only a year older than me, but the way he talks, it's like we're from totally different generations. Everyone's just wired differently. I get that. It's just a lot of pressure. How come? I'm scared that if things go south, we can't even be friends. You want to be friends with him. More husbands, more homes, right? Right after that, the other person just stopped responding. Gu Yao was randomly a little annoyed, and still had no idea how that stiff guy was doing. Should she reply to his message or not? Gu Yao found a pretty girl's photo online, and was about to send it to her blind date. So she had a light bulb moment and came up with a brilliant plan. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Liang Dong had just got, when he got a message from Gu Yao. Hey you there, check out my selfie. Liang Dong was a little pissed. I don't have a selfie. Then just take one real quick. Liang Dong had already figured out what she was up to. Seeing each other's face is the ultimate deal breaker in any online relationship. He probably didn't want to date her anyway, especially remembering that comment he made about having multiple husbands. A flicker of something complex crossed Dong's eyes. He was just about, when Gu Yao sent another message. Right now, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. Gu Yao's little scheme was already in full swing. She had found a photo online of a guy dressed in drag. Never mind whether she could reject him for not being her type. Just the photo she was about to send would be enough to make anyone block her overnight if they had any nerve at all. Right as she sent the photo, she got one back from him. She opened it, it looked like a graduation photo or something. At first glance, pretty cute. Wolf so annoying, getting her curious for no reason. Just then Liang Dong replied, you're into cross-dressing. Gu Yao had to keep digging her own grave to push him away. Do I look good like this? She said and sat back sipping water while waiting for his reply. It's fine. Gu Yao nearly choked on her water. This guy had nerves of steel, so she pulled out her trump card. We're already a minority, and my cross-dressing thing puts me even further on the fringe. That's too much pressure for you, then maybe we should. Before she could even finish typing, Liang Dong had already replied, I can work with that. Gu Yao's entire worldview shattered on the spot. She couldn't shake it off even after sleeping on it. until a little kid gave her an unexpected reality check. At first she was impressed that the kid had learned so many instruments. So she asked which one was his favorite. Well, violin is my least favorite, that's for sure. 顾耀骂着特和笑. Can't you just like all of them? They all sound beautiful. The blind date guy was too sure, but the more she looked, the less special he felt. Giving up the whole forest for one tree just wasn't worth it. So as she got home, she picked up where they left off. You might be okay with it, but I'm not. You're just not my type. You mean we don't have enough in common? Kind of. I like black, I like blue, I like reading, I like music. And I got the major sweet. Funny, I'm all about spicy food. See, we're just not compatible at all. After rejecting him this hard, surely he'd get a hit now. But Gu Yao never expected him to keep pushing. Being different is exactly what makes us a good match. Gu Yao was losing her mind. A relationship isn't about filling in each other's gaps. We have nothing in common. We can't even find things to talk about. We both like guys. Yeah, point. Gu Yao was completely speechless. What kind of common ground is that? By that logic, we're both guys too, so what? The guy she used to have a crush on showed up as a guest speaker. Gu Yao was absolutely mortified. Even worse, he cornered her right outside the bathroom. For Leo, every day apart felt like forever. Want to grab a bite and catch up. Gu Yao tried to sneak away, but it didn't work. She gave up and looked away, like she had nothing to say. Tian Qian watched her with a smirk. What, am I that scary? Gu Yao felt her stomach churn with disgust. She instinctively stepped back a few paces. Tian Qian raised both hands like he was innocent. Hey, I haven't even touched you. Weren't you all over me back then? Who are you putting on this act for now? The nightmare of the past came rushing back all at once. Gu Yao was barely holding it together. Tian Qian, you make me sick. Tian Qin smiled and stepped closer, pleased with himself. You're the disgusting one. Don't forget, you were the one who came after me. Everyone at school knew you were gay, but I'm not. The casual words hit her like a ton of bricks. Her classmates mocking her, teachers looking at her with disgust, being pointed at and treated like a freak. Every painful memory came flooding back. Gu Yao's jaw trembled, her face drained of color, but her instincts told her she couldn't be a pushover anymore. You know exactly what really happened back then. But everyone thinks you were the one shamelessly chasing me. Rumors are more convincing than evidence. But as long as you keep your mouth shut, we can still make this work. Before he could finish, a sudden burst of music cut him off. Gu Yao's heart sunk. She'd meant to open the voice recorder, but she'd accidentally tapped the music app instead. Gu Yao tried to dodge Tian Qian and run, but she was in a bad spot and he grabbed her arm. She barely had a chance to struggle before he slammed her against the. Think I can't make your life hell at this school? Tian Qian raised his fist, ready to swing. Gu Yao squeezed her eyes shut on instinct. Right at that critical moment, the music stopped, replaced by a low, calm voice. Liu. Someone was calling her name. Liu, you there? Tian Qian was caught off guard and reached for the phone, but Gu Yao grabbed it first. Breathless with relief, she told him she was listening. After a brief pause, the voice on the other end. Class over yet. Why aren't you out here? Yeah, just I'll be right out. She felt like a lamb trapped at the edge of a cliff, and this stranger on the other end of the line was opening his arms like a lifeline, ready to catch her. I'm outside your school right now. If I don't see you in 3 minutes, I'm coming in. Clock starts now. Gu Yao worked up the nerve and shoved past Tian Qu. She didn't stop running until she was in a crowd. The call was still connected. She asked him how he knew she was in trouble. Your voice sounded off, so I figured I'd test. Gu Yao never expected to be saved by someone she knew from an online forum. Hey, stop being so formal with me. Didn't it feel fine when you just called me back? It's just that given where we stand, I'm not quite comfortable with that yet. On Valentine's Day, her blind date ghosted her completely. Gu Yao had too much to drink and worked up the nerve to call him. The moment he picked up, she burst into tears. I'm sorry, okay? Please forgive me. I know you got upset because I said you were too stiff. Honestly, everything I said was a lie. I'm not even drunk. I'm totally sober. I'm not some tough girl. I'm just a big soft. And I'm not picky at all. I actually love sweet things. So please don't be mad at me anymore. Can we still be friends? I already said I don't want to be friends. What's wrong with being friends? Everything. Because what Liang Dang wants to do can only happen if we're together. What if I'm not ready for that? Then I'll delete your contact. And if we run into each other, we act like strangers. Gu Yao was shaken by the thought of losing him for good. She figured if love was knocking, why not answer the door? Why punish yourself for someone else's mistakes? So she took a deep breath and typed back. Okay, let's give it a shot. I'm Gu Yao. Starting today, I'm your boyfriend. The next morning, Liang Dang sent a message. Day 1 of the relationship. Gu Yao's ears turned bright red. She spent the whole walk wondering if he was doubting whether she'd really been drunk. Did you think I'd wake up and pretend last night never happened? No, but I'd been burned before. So I came prepared. Then he sent over a folder. Gu Yao had no idea what she was looking at. After a moment's hesitation, she tapped the audio. I'm Gu Yao. Starting today, I'm your boyfriend. Gu Yao's face went completely red. He recorded it. You better not let anyone else hear that. Back home, Gu Yao couldn't wait and called him right away. She asked if he'd have time off for Christmas. Liang Dang just laughed. Don't tell me you want me to fly back and see you. No way. I was just asking. Gu Yao cringed and quickly changed the subject. They chatted a bit more, said goodnight, and went to sleep. The next day at school, she thought of her online forum friend Ada. She shared the exciting news about her new relationship. She also swore she'd never ditch her just because she had a boyfriend. Won't your boyfriend mind? Not at all. He's not the jealous type. She was out here living her best life on the forum under a fake username. But she couldn't forget about her actual boyfriend. So after school, she went to call him, but accidentally hit the video call button. She hung up just in time to avoid the awkwardness. Once the voice call ended, Liang Dang didn't bring up the video thing at all. He just asked if Gu Yao had just finished rehearsal. Gu Yao could tell his mood seemed a little off, so she tried to lighten things up and blame you and Peng Zhou. If those two hadn't dragged her into judging whose abs were more impressive, she would have been home ages ago. You really looking at Dan's house? Gu Yao paused and said, who doesn't? I'm telling you, back when I was on the forum. Her phone buzzed and cut her off mid-sentence. It was a photo from Liang Dang. She opened it and holy cow, an 8-pack. Was this what they called a critical hit? That body was unreal. And he had the V-lines too. She instinctively covered the screen like she was hiding it from everyone around. Then she asked Liang Dong if that was actually a photo of himself. Who else would it be? Whose did you want to see? We finally made official with our blind date match. But then Gu Yao realized there was a seriously big problem. Liang Dong had only seen that one random photo she'd found online, which meant the girl he liked looked like whoever was in that photo. And her social media wasn't open to him. So there was no way he could see any of her real photo. Was that really his type, just from one picture? Meanwhile, Liang Dong was at the gym working out. A trainer walked over and started chatting. He asked why Liang Dong was using such a lot. Building serious muscle takes way more than that. He offered to help if Liang Dong was interested. Dong politely turned him down, said he was perfectly happy with his body the way it was. Someone liked it just fine. Thousands of miles apart, they were each quietly trying to figure out what the other one liked. On her end, Gu Yao was worried the abs incident had made him upset, so she called him on voice chat to test the waters. She wanted to explain that she hadn't meant it the way it sounded, but Liang Dong had only been mad at himself. The moment Lil told people online that he wasn't the petty type, he'd already felt guilty for being exactly that. And even though Gu Yao seemed bold and outgoing, she was actually more cautious than anyone. She had clear boundaries drawn all around herself. Every single one took him multiple tries just to crack open a tiny corner. Like how she used to think being friends was safer than dating. And now she felt voice calls were safer than video calls. Next would probably be that video was safer than meeting in person. Then Liang Dong apologized for how impulsive he'd been. Said he hadn't meant it to come out like that either. Gu Yao went quiet for a moment. Too late to take it back now. I already saw the photo. Even if you delete, I can close my eyes and still pick. Now it was Liang Dong's turn to be called up. Why don't you take another one and send it to me? Absolutely not. No way. My abs are all squished into one now. It's not a pretty. When she heard Liang Dong laugh, Gu Yao finally breathed a sigh. I thought you were jealous. I even made a little video to cheer you up. Liang Dong got curious and was about to ask, but Gu Yao cut him off immediately. Don't even think about it. Already deleted. 3 minutes later, Liang Dong had dug up someone's profile page on the forum and found the video set to friends only. Rose little rubber ducks sticking their butts out. Each one had words written. Do you love me like this? Then they turned around. Your abs are the best. Looking and at the end, a big pair of lips was printed across the screen. Liang Dong watched it 5 times without saying a word. Then he held down the button and saved it to his. Just then, Gu Yao, who had already said goodnight, suddenly sent another voice message. We're close enough now. You don't have to be so formal with me. I thought something serious had happened. Liang Dong was thinking about whether to explain himself when another 15-second voice message came through. The other person must have been exhausted. Their voice was low enough, like they were whispering right next to his ear. Yours is the only one I'd ever want to look at. Should I even give my blind date access to my social media? But if he sees the photos I posted, he'll figure out that the girl in the pics is actually me and I've been playing. Better just put him in a separate group and keep it simple. Gu Yao snapped a peace sign selfie with a violin in the background, then posted it visible only to the new group. Liang Dong liked it and returned the favor, dropping a new photo on his own feed. Gu Yao saved it right away. Hey, totally worth it. After school, Gu Yao called Liang Dong, but all she heard on the other end was heavy breathing. She asked what he was doing, and he said he was climbing the stairs. Every ragged breath hit her ears like a freight train, and Gu Yao's heart was going absolutely wild. If this is a sin, then just punish me already. Don't torture me by dangling something I can't see or touch. The next morning, Gu Yao woke up with bags under her eyes. That panting had been on loop in her head all night long, and she'd had to hug a pillow just to finally fall asleep. So she called Liang Dong and told him to take the elevator and stop climbing the stair. But don't you like abs? I do. But when you put it that way, the pressure's too much. They chatted for a bit, and then Gu Yao suddenly asked, when we first added each other, I blocked you. Your mom said you thought your phone was broke. You didn't actually take it apart, did you? Liang Dong admitted it, but said he'd stop doing that, because he found something that interested him way more. Well, not exactly a something. Growing up, Liang Dong rarely got genuinely interested in any car. Mostly just went along with whatever his parents gave. But no matter what it was, he'd always pick it up faster and do it better than any kid around him. Yet he'd never get attached to it or feel any real connection. The moment something new came along, he'd walk away without a second thought. His therapist said it was a kind of decision paralysis. When he finally encounters someone or something grabs his interest, even if he looks calm on the surface, on the inside he's already building up a surge of energy. Gu Yao got a little nervous and asked if he'd get hooked on socializing again. There are all kinds of people out there abroad. Don't go picking up bad habits from. But Liang Dong floored her with one single line. Right now you're the only thing I'm interested in. One afternoon when a downpour hit, Gu Yao was getting shoved around in the crowd. Peng Zhou was under an umbrella craning his neck and calling out for his Jing Shouqi to come over. Then someone from behind grabbed Gu Yao's arm. Peng Zhou, I got your hand. A totally confused Gu Yao got dragged under the umbrella, sandwiched right between the two lovebirds. All three just stared at each other, could not have been more awkward. The wrong hand mix-up spread all over school in no time. Gu Yao's phone didn't stop buzzing all afternoon. She didn't even need to guess. Everyone was especially watching those two lovebirds being all over each other. Gu Yao was absolutely fuming. There's a performance tomorrow, not worth beating them up over. Oh, I'm so done. Let me post something to blow off some steam. I just want to bury my face in my boyfriend's chest and ugly cry. But she didn't notice she hadn't said it to the new group and went out to everyone. Not long after, Liang Dong messaged her back. Miss me enough to want me back. He was already packing his bags as he typed. The moment everyone's been waiting for the online couple finally meets in person. On Christmas Day, Liang Dong booked a flight back to the capital. But he had no plans to tell Gu Yao. He was only back for 1 day, so time was tight. He had to visit his critically ill grandfather. He was about to tell Gu Yao he needed to inspect a factory, and that the signal there was bad, so he'd be off the grid for a day. That's when Gu Yao's video call came through. It was actually their very first video call, but when it connected, the screen on the other end was completely he could just barely make out voices in the back. It's connected. Leo, come look. Whoa, what hobby? Mixed in with that were broken, muffled sobs, and words of protest like don't look. Liang Dong recognized Gu Yao's voice. His heart immediately sank. Leo, what's wrong? After a long moment, the camera slowly let in some light, revealing a bit of his neck and a chin that was faintly red. He wiped away the tears running down his cheek. Voice was hoarse, he'd clearly been crying for a while. I told them not to call you, but they did it anyway. I was just tuning the pegs and a string snapped. It hit my face. It's barely any. Liang Dong finally let out a sigh of relief. Let me see. Oh, no, I don't want you to see. I'm not going on stage tomorrow. That's when Liang Gang realized his Leo was a total prick who cared about his looks. He reassured him there was nothing to worry about, his face was fine. By the way, you kind of lied to me. You're at least 10,000 times choosing your photo. Gu Yao covered his face, still sniffling as he talked. You can barely see me anyway. Besides, my face is totally ruined. Liang Gang traced his fingertip across the screen, outlining the face he'd imagined. It doesn't matter. Even if it were, I'd still be into you. Little did he know the moment the call ended, Gu Yao wasn't crying anymore. He burst out laughing. Good thing I moved the camera fast. He's even better looking in person than in his photo. The show was about to start. Gu Yao had no idea that Liang Gang, who was miles away, had already changed his flight and was heading straight to us. He texted Gu Yao from outside the school gates and got an instant reply. You're finally here. I'm going on in a bit. He never could have guessed that Liang Gang had actually shown up. Liang Gang made his way into the packed concert hall and used his height to get a clear view of the whole stage. But his eyes had a mind of their own. They locked straight onto the person seated toward the inner left. Time seemed to fold back on itself, pulling him back to that winter day when he first saw him. Back then, he was sitting dazed on a bench. Half a year into a major he'd been forced to switch into. A family that made decisions without him. A physical exam he passed but that had already been voided. The pressure just kept piling on. Right when he was starting to feel like he couldn't breathe. A quick set of footsteps drew near. Then a slender young guy sat down beside him. The boy noticed someone was staring at him and turned to ask Liang Gang not too kindly what he was looking at. Liang Gang turned, his feelings all tangled up. Have I changed that much? There's no way he can recognize him. I still clearly remember his name. Then he recalled them playing with Transformers together 12 years ago. Alan was about to use that as a way to tell the boy who he was. But the boy spoke first. Did you not do well on the exam? Is that why you didn't get in? Not just the exam, no money to study at a top school either. Liang Gang shook his head, but before he could say a word, the boy suddenly stood up. Either way, we crossed paths for a reason. Let me play you something. Listen, then go home and get some sleep. Don't just sit here feeling for yourself. That's when it finally clicked for Liang Gang. So this feeling was called sadness. Sadness was an emotion, but one Liang Gang had never experienced before. That's why he never quite fit in with the world around him. Normally, he would never waste his time listening to someone play. But this time, he stayed and listened to every note. It was exactly like that moment long ago. What drew Liang Gang in wasn't the music itself, but the same person standing before him, then and now. A guy accidentally mistook his blind date for a client. Hey, can you settle up the coaching fee for today? The guy didn't even blink, he just sent over $520. Doubling the fee is one thing, but did you really have to make it such a lovey-dovey no? Gu Yao is a top student at a music conservatory. He's been on plenty of blind dates already. One guy started pitching him life insurance, the second they met. And one looked totally refined, until he bent down, and you caught a glimpse of lace doll. That day his mom tracked down another great and insisted he had the guy on which had to get the ball rolling. He barely sat down in his room when a new friend request came in. His blind date was overseas, so there was no way that was him. Plus whoever just had some generic middle-aged puff-up bitch. Probably the parent of one of his afternoon students. Gu Yao's eyes lit up. It had to be someone paying extra for more lesson. Hello, I'm Liang Gang. I'm just a year older than you. Gu Yao thought back to when they first met. Yeah, right. You look old enough to be my dad. Still, he had to be polite to the guy with the wallet. After they traded a few memes back and forth, Gu Yao couldn't hold back anymore. It's getting late. Why don't we settle the fee? What fee? Today's coaching fee. He waited 2 minutes and got nothing back. The transfer didn't come until the next day. Doubling the fee was already generous. So why the weird specific number? Not that any of that mattered. Cause now he could finally buy the electric violin he'd been dreaming. Thank you so much. You're incredibly generous. Next time I'll give you some extra practice time. You only get better with more practice. A little while later his phone buzzed. The guy was asking if he'd had dinner yet. Gu Yao was totally covered. Why were they still chatting? Whatever, the customer's always right. He'd play along all along. The two of them kept up a loose, easy chat all the way through dinner. Liang is well off and only has one younger sister. You two need to really put in the effort to get together. He hasn't even added me on wage. How am I supposed to do that? There's probably a time difference. He's just trying not to bother you. Oh, is that so? That's actually really thoughtful. Meanwhile, Liang Gang had just put his phone down when his sister suddenly sent him a message. Sending someone money the second you meet them. Something about that feels off. Then she immediately hit him with a video call. Liang Gang fumbled around forever before he found the button to answer. Yep, he was exactly what legends call a tech dinosaur. What a shame, all those good looks, totally wasted. His sister was yawning. Yesterday you asked me how to send money. I nearly had a heart attack. But I can't believe he actually accepted. He waited 22 hours to accept. Thank you. He's a pretty reserved guy. Oh no, you're quiet, he's reserved. You two together are gonna die of boredom. After hanging up with his sister, Liang Gang used Gu Yao's contact info to find his other account on a social media app. It was full of stuff about Gu Yao's hobbies and interests. Just then, a new post popped up from him. Just woke up, still in bed. Got you into the story already feeling nauseous. Liang Gang's jaw nearly dropped. So much for reserved. Really wish I could take that back. What do you even mistaking a blind date for a sleazy old? And then blocked him? Gu Yao used the money from his big spender to buy the electric violin. And even posted about it to show it off. His blind date still hadn't sent a friend request. Whatever. But the very first like came from his big spender. Being polite and returning the gesture is just good man. So Gu Yao went ahead and liked his big spender's latest post too. He didn't expect the guy to slide into his DMs right away. In class. Yeah. Bored? None of your business whether I'm bored. But he couldn't afford to tick off the guy with the wallet. So Gu Yao kept it polite. String music history. Nothing but walls of text. My head's killing me. Not feeling well. You should go see a doctor. It's not that serious. Don't you ever fall asleep reading books like that? No. Gu Yao stuck his tongue out, instantly picturing a balding middle-aged man reading with a serious face. Right then his phone buzzed. He opened it and, oh come on, the 520 transfer. He still had a 2-hour coaching session today. When he got there, Gu Yao crept around peeking down every hallway, terrified he'd run into his big spender around the next corner. Only after he shut the practice room door did he finally exhale and pat his chest. Even the 6-year-old noticed he was completely distracted and called him out for being all shifty-eyed. Nothing. Just checking out the place. The little brat wasn't buying it. Like he could afford a place like this. No wonder this kid played violin like he was sawing wood. His talent for music had clearly been eaten up by his talent for trash talk. Whether I can afford a place is none of your business. What matters is that you practice. The kid groaned and reluctantly dragged his bow across the strings. Gu Yao felt like he was looking at himself as a kid, so he asked with a smile, if you hate it, why are you still doing it? My deadbeat dad is making me. Thinking of that dad who loved showing off. Gu Yao nodded. He got it. Can't you just tell your mom you don't want to? My mom's never home. And when she is, she just fights with my dad. Gu Yao froze. No wonder the guy introduced himself and sent money right away. Once the kid mentioned the family problems, it all clicked. The big spender had a thing for him. He wanted to be his real deal sugar daddy. When he got home, Gu Yao splashed cold water on his face and stared at his own reflection. So this is how trouble finds you when you're too good looking. It was his own fault for being so attracted to men and women on Hale. And honestly, he wanted to return the fact 20 from before. But what about his electric violin? If he returned the money and tried to buy it later, it wouldn't be the same one. It was all that shameless old man's fault. He had a wife and a son, and he was still hitting on a decent guy like him. And the more Gu Yao thought about it, calling him shameless was letting him off easy. The nerve of this guy, still texting him, still got a headache. It was fine until I saw your message. Why? You know why? A few minutes went by before the reply came. I really don't. Gu Yao was about to lose it. Every single word I'm typing to you right now, I'm typing with my middle finger. Impressive. Gu Yao was completely speechless. Typical out-of-touch older guy, totally missed the joke. He lay in bed and took a while to calm himself down. Then finally sat up and got ready to set the old man straight. He didn't expect the guy to message him first. You don't have to be so formal with me. Fine, I'll be straight with you then. I'm not that kind of person. I'd strongly suggest you back off. I'm sorry, maybe I came on too strong. I just thought we could get to know each other on a deeper level. Those words hit Gu Yao like a ton of bricks. Since when did creeps start talking like a Jane Austen novel? You're going straight to the block list? After blocking the old man, Gu Yao went to eat dinner. He didn't see it coming. His mom hit the roof. Why did you block him? No way, I never block people first. His mom handed him the phone. He's a good, honest guy. He said you two were chatting just suddenly you can send message. He thought his phone was broken and almost took it in to get fixed. Gu Yao still wasn't convinced. He never even added me. How could I have blocked him? But the next second his jaw dropped. Wait, this guy actually asked my blind date. He'd mistaken his blind date for some creepy older guy hitting on him, and then blocked him. Gu Yao was so stressed his violin playing sounded like he was cutting lumber. Then riding that wave of impulse, he went ahead and unblocked his blind date. It was 1:30 in the afternoon local time, and with the time difference between him and his overseas blind, the guy probably wouldn't see the message for a while. That would at least spare him some awkwardness. Gu Yao thought he had it all figured out. He carefully sent over a pouty, sorry-faced meme. His blind date replied instantly. Talk about awkward walking right in the front door. As a toad dinosaur, Liang Dao was actually impressive in his own way. He genuinely thought his phone was broken when the messages stopped coming. He'd already gotten out a heating pad and a screwdriver. He was literally about to crack open his phone to fix when it suddenly bust. When he saw it was a message from Gu Yao, he put his glasses back on to make sure he was clean. Sure enough, Gu Yao had added him back. His fingers slipped and he accidentally sent a meaningless period. Not knowing he could unsend it, Liang Dong quickly followed up. Sorry, hit the wrong button. He waited over 2 full minutes before a careful reply finally came from. I'm the one who should apologize. Did I wake you up? The frustration he'd been carrying just quietly faded away. By all rights, he should have demanded to know why Gu Yao had been ignoring him. But Liang Dong just sat there in a daze for a long moment, and then typed back now. Then Gu Yao suddenly became chat, firing off messages one after another. Sorry. I messed up. I didn't block you on purpose. I acted without thinking. I should have asked first. Your phone isn't broken, I'm the one who messed up. Why'd you go quiet? Watching the messages pop up one after another, Liang Dong's head was spinning. He just typed back it's fine. If it's fine, then why are you still up so late? Holding the phone he'd nearly taken apart. Lay a long time before coming up with a cover story. He said he was working on a paper, but Gu Yao still felt terrible. Why don't you block me back? You can even cuss me out first. Why? Because I cussed you out and blocked you first. You already took me off the block list. That's enough. Gu Yao finally let out a sigh of relief. But I still took your money. That was my mistake. I thought you were one of my students' parents. But I'm broke right now. So I'll pay you back when I get my paycheck next month. Liang Dong figured if he said don't worry about it, would probably feel worse. So he changed the subject and asked, what does T_T mean? It's an emoji like a face crying with its mouth wide open. Liang Dong's heart suddenly clenched. He thought Gu Yao was actually crying, and was trying to figure out what to say. When 3 messages came in back to back, the crying emoji on WeChat is so ugly I had to type it out manual. I'm Gu Yao, 1 year younger than you. Basically the same age, hope we get along great. And just like that, they wrapped up their first real conversation on a good note. As Gu Yao closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep, he had no idea that just a few hours earlier, on a forum post he'd made asking for help, about how to apologize and get someone to stop being mad at you, one commenter had left a weirdly prophetic, he won't be mad at you. Anyone who's done the whole blind date thing knows, there's something really nice about being cared for by someone your own age, especially when the other person comes across as more mature. It gives you this warm look after kind of feeling. But warm feelings don't pay the bills, and Gu Yao still had to go teach the little brat. Can you slow it down? The kid shot him a look. You just want to drag it out so you can clock out early, don't you? The little brat really got under Gu Yao's skin. I haven't even been paid for the extra time from last session, you know. But when it was time to leave, he couldn't bring himself to bring it up. The kid's parents were never home. And honestly, it was kind of sad. He let it slide considered a good thing. Only then did Gu Yao remember his blind date, and he opened the app to send him a message first. Hey, have you eaten yet? Yeah, just finished the class. What about you had dinner? Gu Yao stared at the reply and couldn't even. He tapped on that ancient-looking profile picture. This guy was seriously only 1 year old. Everything about him felt like a different generation. He was just about to type something back, When the driver suddenly jerked the wheel hard around the corner, he instinctively curled his fist and gripped the phone tight. The car steadied out and he barely relaxed when he realized he'd accidentally sent a long voice message. He frantically hit unsend and explained, "Sorry, hit the wrong thing." "No worries. Oh, so you can unsend messages." Gu Yao couldn't help but laugh. "Yep, try it yourself, just long press the message bubble." Sure enough, Liang Dong sent a random number a moment later, then unsent it and replied, "Got it, thanks." This overly formal way of talking made Gu Yao uncomfortable, so he gently brought it up. "We were brought together for a reason, I think we can drop the formalities." Worried the guy might not get what he was talking about how they addressed each other. He was still thinking about whether to tell him to just call him Gu or Mr. when a buzz from his phone pulled him back. "Leo, is that okay?" Gu Yao's heart did a little flip, and a wave of warmth washed right over him. He typed back, a little flustered, "Sha." Although if you called that out on the street. Not at all. It's a great name. Gu Yao was only halfway through typing his reply when, whoosh, an 11-second voice message came through. He blinked in disbelief, then carefully tapped to play it. It started with about 2 seconds of background noise. Someone who'd never sent a voice message before, asking a little unsurely, "Can you hear me?" The voice was deep and smooth, with a slight breathiness that tickled right through the earphone. Then he said Gu Yao's full name, followed by a warm familiar Leo. Gu Yao sat there with that deep, smooth voice looping in his head. He picked up his phone. "Okay, hearing out loud is actually pretty nice, thanks mom and dad." Then he pulled his earbuds out. His ears were red and warm to the top. He reached up and touched one, then told himself, "It's just the heat in this car cranked up too high." Even though he was only a year younger than his blind date, the two of them were worlds apart in personality. Gu Yao was a big-hearted romantic who believed in love stories, while Liang Dong was the stoic, awkward, quietly handsome type. 9 in the morning again. Sure enough, that wooden block of a man was back for his daily check-in. Gu Yao's whole good mood evaporated on the spot. Yesterday he was calling him Lil, and today it's back to some stiff form. Gu Yao stormed onto the forum to vent. "Does this oblivious guy actually think I'm some kind of time clock?" The replies were all pretty much the same. Everyone agreed the guy was a clueless, hopeless straight edge, except for one comment that stood out. "He probably thinks he should keep things formal until you made it official." Gu Yao had absolutely no idea what to make of that. How would you know? Just a guess. But thinking about it, knowing how old-fashioned this guy was, that might actually be exactly what he thought. But what did making it official even mean? Was this some new kind of scam? That afternoon, Gu Yao had mentioned he was taking his parents out for hot pot. 3 hours later, Liang Dong figured they'd probably be wrapping up, and was just about to text Gu Yao when his sister hit him with a video call out of nowhere. The second it connected, she shrieked, "Bro, you look insanely good in glasses." Ling Dong's prescription wasn't that bad. He just liked wearing them when he raged. He was about to take them off when his sister protested. "Stop. Cute them all. You look like a total heart." She happily took a screenshot. "Wear this exact look when you meet your future husband." He's gonna be speechless. Liang Dong flatly pointed out that he wasn't his husband, and that Gu Yao didn't seem to be into his type anyway. His sister was confused. So what's his type? Ling Dong thought about the photos of buff guys Gu Yao had posted on the forum, quietly opened the browser, and checked if the dumbbells he voted 2 days ago had shipped yet. His sister was still going on in the background. "Want me to do some digging for you?" Liang Dong said no without hesitation. "Whatever's going on between us, I'll handle it myself." They chatted a little more, and then hung up. Not long after, Liang Dong got a 520 transfer from Gu Yao out of nowhere. He was still staring at it, hadn't even had a chance, when a voice message came in. "Payday baby, I'm here to pay you back." You could practically smell the alcohol through the phone. Liang Dong worried about him being out drunk, asked if he was home. "I'm not out partying if that's what you're thinking. I'm at home drinking with my mom and dad. And for the record, I'm Gu Yao. Even drunk, my class never slips." Hearing he was home, Liang Dong relaxed. But before he could reply, another voice message came in from Yao. "Why aren't you saying anything? Are you scared to talk to me? And how come you stopped calling me Leo?" He was whining, practically pouting through the phone. Liang Dong sighed and held down the voice button, calling out warmly, "Leo, say it again." Gu Yao, acting all high and mighty, demanded he say it a few more times. Liang Dong didn't fully get what he meant by that. Once he'd had his fill, Gu Yao sent back a voice message satisfied. "Thank you." His voice was light and bright, and the unspoken feeling behind it made the corner of Liang Dong's mouth twitch up. Then out of nowhere, Gu Yao's tone shifted to something almost wistful. "Hey, so you know how you're abroad?" "I am abroad, yeah." "Is it cold over there?" "Yeah, it's cold." "So what do you do about that?" "I have a competition over there in a few months. By then it'll be spring, so it won't be cold anymore." "Bad people over there." Liang Dong could tell something was worrying him. After a moment, he said, "Every place has people with bad intentions, but I won't let you run into any of them. Get some sleep. Good night." Anyone who's texted a crush while drunk knows it's a dangerous combination. What's even scarier is waking up with zero memory of what you said. Gu Yao grabbed his phone and scrolled through the chat, and when he saw over a dozen voice messages from himself, he wanted to disappear. He called himself a boss in front of a blind date he'd never even met, and had the nerve to brag about his own charm. Worse, he pressured the guy into a voice chat, and then at the end shamelessly begged for affection from him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He'd forced the poor guy to say Lil 7 whole times. Gu Yao ate breakfast in a total daze, then shuffled onto the bus to school like a zombie. He'd had to be a split personality. There's no way I said all that embarrassing stuff. Right on schedule, the daily check-in rolled around. The morning greeting arrived without fail. Gu Yao stared at the formal greeting sitting in the chat, so mortified he could barely function. He was terrified that if he replied, the guy would bring up his drunk disaster from last night. Better to just let it quietly pass, leave no traces if possible. Class was dragging on and on. Yao snuck out his phone and started messing around on the forum, and posted something, asking people how to write a name on a violin. "Try acrylic paint. Engraving can damage the wood." Gu Yao felt like he recognized this comment, so he followed up asking if mixing the colors was hard. Next thing he knew, the guy had sent over a full tutorial. He thanked him and then tried to strike up a conversation. "Your account is pretty new. You here to make friends or find a date?" "Making friends here is fine, but I'd skip the dating scene." "Why?" "Trust me on this one. Finding a date here is even more of a crapshoot than a blind date. Liang Dong's stomach dropped when he read that. What's wrong with blind dates? Since this wasn't someone he knew in real life, Gu Yao didn't bother holding back. Getting set up with someone you have zero chemistry. How do you know there's no chemistry if you haven't even tried? It's just that every time I chat with him, it feels like talking to my grandpa. If your family set it up, they should be around the same age. He is just 1 year older. But talking to him feels like crossing generations. People are just different. I get that. It's just a lot of pressure. Why? I'm worried if it goes sideways we can't even be friends. You want to be friends with him. More friends, more options, right? And just like that, the other guy stopped responding. Gu Yao was weirdly a little bummed out. Still hadn't even dealt with the situation with that wooden block. Should he even bother replying to his message? This was their very first real meeting. After the orchestra performance ended, Gu Yao was happily chatting with some classmates in the audience. Liang Dong stood not far away gazing at him with total adoration. Just as Liang Dong was about to walk over and say hi, his phone suddenly rang. His driver was telling him they had to leave right now to catch the flight. He hated to leave that smiling face behind, but he held back and decided not to interrupt. After all, before he could convince his grandpa, it wasn't the right time to meet Lil in person. He just had someone else deliver the gift he prepared. As Gu Yao hummed the tune and packed up his instrument, younger female student suddenly ran up to him. Hey, someone asked me to give this to you. Gu Yao was caught off guard and asked her who sent it. A really tall guy in a black coat, and honestly drop-dead gorgeous. He didn't look like he goes here. There had been a tall guy leaning by the door. He had a vague feeling he'd seen that person somewhere before, but the lighting was too dim to make out his face. He figured it was probably just a fan. But when he unwrapped the package, he found a limited edition vinyl record from his idol Hype, and he completely lost it. He could barely wait to fly home and put it on the record player. And he felt like he could kiss whoever sent it. He said goodbye to the girl, slung his violin on his back, and headed out. Something cold and light landed on the tip of his nose. He wiped it away and it melted into water. It was snowing. It was beautiful. He had to share the good news with Liang Dong. When Liang Dong received a short video from Gu Yao, there were only 5 minutes left before his boarding. He'd seen snow all the time abroad, so it wasn't anything special to him. He sent Gu Yao a voice message. It snows like crazy every winter where I am. Are you seriously bragging to me, right? No, I want to bring you here to see it. So what he was really thinking. You're way prettier than any snowflake. His mom had already texted him several times to hurry home. Otherwise he honestly would have stayed with Lil for the bat and flown back the next day. Back home, every relative was showing off their kids. A granddaughter-in-law or a grandson-in-law. What should have been a nice family dinner turned to a total mess. Even if his grandfather couldn't wrap his head around it. Having his mom and dad in his corner was more than enough. He called Gu Yao afterward. The two of them talked about their childhood dream. Liang Dong said he wanted to be a pilot. Gu Yao laughed and said he wanted to drive a street sweeper truck. The only thing the dreams had in common was that both involved vehicle. But Liang Dong was thrilled to find even that tiny connection with Gu Yao. To get Gu Yao to sing for him, Liang Dong told a harmless little white lie. Sure enough it worked. Gu Yao felt bad for him. Spending Christmas all by yourself is rough. So okay, I'll do it. But you better not laugh at my pronunciation. Gu Yao's effortless, carefree voice filled his ear. Liang Dong made up his mind he was changing his flight tomorrow. No matter what, he had to meet Gu Yao in person. Gu Yao found a random girl's photo online, and was planning to send it to his blind date, because he wasn't into the guy at all. But he was afraid of getting an earful from his mom if he just said no, so he came up with what he thought was a brilliant plan. When he got a message from Gu Yao, hey, you there, check out my selfie. Liang Dong was confused. I don't have a selfie. Then just take one now. Liang Dong had actually already figured out what the other guy was up to. After all, the first big killer of online dating is Xingyang Shixian. Maybe he just didn't want to date him. We're especially thinking back to that comment about having multiple home tone. When Gu Yao sent another message, right now, you show me yours and I'll show you mine. Gu Yao was already scheming in his head. He had found a photo online of a guy dressed in full drag, and even if he couldn't reject the guy for not being his type, just sending that photo over ought to do the trick. If the other guy didn't block him overnight, he'd have seriously strong nerves. Right after he sent the photo, he got one back from the other guy. He opened it and it was some kind of graduation photo. At first glance, the guy was pretty good looking. So annoying how he just sparked my curiosity out of nowhere. Just then, Liang Dong replied, "You into cross-dressing?" Gu Yao had to keep digging his own grave to push the guy away. Yeah, do I look like this? He said that and then sat back sipping water waiting for Not bad. Gu Yao nearly choked on his water. This guy's got some serious nerves. So he pulled out his secret weapon. We're already a minority as it is, and my thing for cross-dressing puts me even further on the fringe. If that's too much pressure for you, then maybe we should. Before he could finish typing, Liang Dong already sent a message. I can work with that. Gu Yao was absolutely floored, his whole worldview shattered. He didn't sleep it off after a full night's rest, and only had his eyes open after a little kid gave him a reality check. He had been surprised at first that the kid had learned so many instruments, so he asked which one was his favorite. All I know is I hate the violin the most. Gu Yao muttered to himself, can't you just like all of them? They all sound great. But the next second, it clicked. Sure, the blind date was cute, but he'd get old fast. Why give up the whole forest for one tree? So he went home and picked up where they'd left off. Maybe you're fine with me, but I'm not into your type. Do you mean because we have nothing in common? Something like that. I like black. So I like blue. I like reading. I like music. I have a sweet tooth. Well, I'm all about the spicy stuff. See, we're totally wrong for each other. After pushing back that hard, surely the other guy would get the hint. But Gu Yao never expected him to still not give up. It's exactly because we're different that we're perfect for each other. Gu Yao was going absolutely crazy. Dating isn't about filling in each other's gap. What I mean is we have nothing in common. We can't even find anything to talk about. We both like guys. Same. Gu Yao was completely stung. How does that even count as something in common? By that logic, we're both dudes too. This wholesome guy was trying everything to shake his blind date, thinking the carefully chosen photo would scare him off. He never imagined the guy would actually say he was fine with it. Since the guy refused to take the hint, it was time for the ultimate moment. Yeah, I'm into cross-dressing, but I'm strictly a top. So we're the same type, babe, we're just not a match. After 20 minutes with no reply, Gu Yao was convinced the other guy had to be a top 2, and thought he was finally free from this whole blind date nightmare. But the reply that came next completely blew his mind. I can be a bottom. What on earth did I do to deserve this? How is he willing to bend over backwards for me like this? Liang Dong hadn't gotten a reply in a long time, so he went on the forum to check Gu Yao's latest post. My best sport, aside from going back and forth on my is working out flat on my back and back. So you'd rather lie to me than just give us a shot. He put down his phone feeling deflated, and his finger accidentally hit dislike on Gu Yao's post. On the way home he passed by a fried chicken place, and on impulse walked in and ordered the spiciest chicken they had. Leo said he loves spicy food, so let me give it a try with extra chili. He took a big bite and, oh man, nearly lost half his life right there. He downed 3 glasses of before the burning in his throat finally died down. Leo also said he likes listening to music, so let me find a song to try. Halfway through he was already bored out of his mind, heading his hand nearly dozing off, when a sudden notification jolted him awake. I found a photo of our future sister. On the screen was a photo from an orchestra performance, and his sister had thoughtfully drawn a red circle around one person. If he guessed right, that had to be Gu Yao. Although he looked nothing like the photo he had sent, his sister was still gushing about how good looking he was, saying he must play beautifully too. But Liang Dong's feelings were anything but simple. He's not your sister-in-law yet. He was about to send that to his sister, but the next second he took it back, and quietly set himself a big goal. That evening when Gu Yao got home, his mom called him in for another one of her talks. My Leo just gets more handsome every time I'm a Have you two swapped photos yet? Yeah, we did, just not feeling the vibe.
What do you mean, not feeling it?
Who wasn't into who? I guess it was mutual. His mom immediately blew a gasket. After making a huge fuss, she dug out and pulled out a few shots she was convinced were drop-dead gorgeous. Sending him these. I refuse to believe that Liang kid won't be swimming. Gu Yao took the photos his mom had picked and headed to his room, letting out a long sigh. Ever since he told the other guy he wasn't into a rigid bod, things had already gone too far to Now he was starting to wonder if he'd been too much, thinking a guy with a sweet tooth had to be a softy at heart. His guilty fingers were hovering over the text box, and he accidentally sent a photo. He recalled it fast, but the notification was already then stared at the chat without blinking. The screen showed the other person was typing, but after over half an hour, still nothing came through. He's gotta be mad, right? It's my fault for being so immature and calling him stiff and all that. An ex he'd had feelings for showed up at school as a guest speaker, and Gu Yao wanted to disappear on the spot. Even worse, the guy cornered him right outside the bathroom. Leo feels like forever since I last saw you. Want to grab a bite and catch up. Gu Yao tried to slip away, but it didn't work. He had no choice but to turn his face away and say there was nothing to talk about. Tan Qing stared at him with an amused smile. What's the matter? Am I really that scared? Gu Yao's stomach turned and he felt sick. He instinctively stepped back a few paces. Tan Qing, seeing that, threw his hands up like he was innocent. Relax, I haven't even touched. But didn't you used to love following me around? Who are you putting on this whole act for now? The nightmarish memories came flooding back all at once, and Gu Yao almost lost control of his. Tan Qing, you make me sick. Tan Qing's smile widened as he took a step forward. You're the disgusting one here. Don't forget, you were the one who wanted to date me. The whole school knows you're gay. But I'm not. The words were light as air, but they landed like a ton of bricks. Classmates laughing at him. Teachers looking at him with disgust. Being pointed at and treated like a freak. All those painful memories came crashing back at once. Gu Yao's jaw was clenched, his face gone pale. But his gut told him he couldn't be a pushover like before. You know better than anyone what really happened back then. But all anyone knows is that you were the one shamelessly chasing me. Sometimes rumors stick better than the truth. But as long as you play nice and keep quiet, we could still. He never finished. A sudden blast of music cut him off. Gu Yao's heart sank. He had meant to open the voice recorder, but accidentally hit the music app instead. Gu Yao tried to dodge around Tan Qian and run, but his position was bad. Tan Qian grabbed his arm, and before he could struggle much, he was shoved against the wall. You really want to find out how fast I can make your life hell? Tan Qian said that and raised a fist the size of a camp. Gu Yao squeezed his eyes shut on instinct. Right in that split second, the music cut out and was replaced by a low calm voice. Leo! Someone was calling his name. Leo, you there? Tian Qian was called off guard too. He went to grab the phone, but Gu Yao beat him to it. It's like someone who just escaped with their life, he told the person on the line he was listening. There was a brief pause on the other end. Classo, why aren't you out yet? Yeah, just finished, I'm heading out now. He felt like a lamb that had been forced to the edge of a cliff. And the stranger on the other end of the line, a guy he'd never even met, spread his arms wide like a lifeline. I'm right outside your school. If I don't see you in 3 minutes, I'm coming in. Starting now. Gu Yao worked up the nerve and shoved past Tan Qing, and didn't stop running until he was somewhere with people around. The call was still connected, so he asked the other guy how he knew something was wrong. Your voice sounded off, so I took a shot in the dark. Gu Yao hadn't expected to be bailed out by a friend from the forum. Hey, stop being so formal with me. Calling my name just now felt way better, didn't it? It's just that the way things stand between us. It's not really my place to be that casual. On Valentine's Day, his blind date didn't reach out at all. Gu Yao got a little drunk and worked up the nerve to call him. The moment the call connected, he was already in tears. I'm sorry, I'll get down on my knees, just forgive me, okay? I know you're mad because I called you stiff. Honestly, everything I said was a lie. I'm not even drunk, I'm totally sober. And I'm not some big topic. I'm just a wimp. And I'm not picky about food. I actually love sweet things too. So please don't be mad at me anymore. Can we just be friends? I already said, no friends. What's wrong with being friends? Everything. Because what Liang Dong wanted could only happen if they were boyfriends. Then what if I just don't want to date anyone, then I'm deleting your contact. And if we run into each other, a stranger. That threat of going complete no contact rattled Gu Yao. He thought if love is coming my way, why not just go for it? Why punish yourself over what someone else did to you? So he took a breath and replied, okay then, let's give it a shot. My name is Gu Yao. And starting today, I'm your boyfriend. The next morning, Liang Dong sent a message. Day one together. Gu Yao's ears turned red. The whole way that he kept wondering if the guy thought he'd take it back after sobbing. You thought I'd wake up and pretend last night never happened, didn't you? No, but given what happened before, I did have a backup plan. He sent over a folder. Gu Yao had no idea what to make of it, and after a moment's hesitation opened the audio. My name is Gu Yao, and starting today, I'm your boyfriend. Gu Yao's face went completely red. You recorded me. Don't you dare let anyone else hear that. At home, Gu Yao couldn't wait and called him right away, asking if he'd have Christmas off. Liang Dong laughed. Don't tell me you want me to fly back for you. No way, I was just asking. Gu Yao was dying of embarrassment and quickly changed the subject. They chatted for a bit, and then said goodnight. The next day at school, he thought of his foreign friend Dong, and shared the good news about his new relationship, making sure to say he'd never ditch him just because he had a boyfriend. Won't your boyfriend mind? Nah, he's not the petty type. Gu Yao was living his double life on the forum under a fake account, but he couldn't ignore his actual boyfriend. So after school, he went to call him on voice, but accidentally tapped video call, and thankfully hung up fast enough to avoid the awkward. Once the voice call connected, Liang Dong didn't bring up the video thing. He just asked if Gu Yao had just finished rehearsal. Gu Yao felt like the other guy's mood was a little down, so he tried to lighten things up and said it was all Jiang Yu and Peng Zhou's. If those two hadn't dragged him into judging whose abs were more impressive, he'd have been home way sooner. You're really that into abs? Gu Yao paused and said, who wouldn't be? Let me tell you, back when I was on the forum. His phone buzzed and cut him off. It was a photo from Liang Dong. He opened it and, holy moly, it was an 8-pack. Is this what they call a critical hit? That body is insane. And he's even got the V-lines. He instinctively covered the screen like he didn't want anyone else to see, then asked Liang Dong if that was actually him in the photo. Who else would it be? Who did you want to see? She finally made it official with her blind date, but then Gu Yao realized there was a seriously big problem. Only had that one photo of her, the one she'd randomly grabbed off the internet, which meant the type of girl he liked was based entirely on that photo, and her social media was not open to him at all. There was no way he could have seen any of her real photos. Was he really only into that one look? Meanwhile, Liang Dong was at the gym working out. Someone asked him why he was using such light bar. Building big muscles is tough, you know. He offered to help if Liang Dong needed it. Liang Dong politely turned the trainer down. He said he was perfectly happy with his body the way it was, because someone really likes it this way. Both of them were quietly trying to figure out what the other person was into. On her end, Gu Yao was worried the abs thing from before had made him mad, so she called him on voice to feel things out. But Liang Dong was only upset with himself, because of how Lil had described him in front of others online, saying he wasn't the petty type. He already felt guilty for being exactly that petty, and Gu Yao, who seemed so bold and outgoing, was actually more guarded than anyone. He had very clear personal boundaries. Every single one took multiple attempts before she could chip away corner. Like how he used to think being friends was safer than dating. Now he figured voice calls were safer than video calls, and next it would be video being safer than meeting in person. Then Liang Dong apologized for his outburst. He said he hadn't meant it to come out that way either. Gu Yao paused for a long moment. Too late to take it back now. I already saw that photo even if you delete it. I can close my eyes and still picture. Now it was Liang Dong's turn to be speechless. How about you send me one too? Absolutely not. No way. My abs have all merged into one. Not a priest. Hearing Liang Dong crack up, Gu Yao finally breathed a sigh of relief. I thought you were jealous. Turns out it was just a big misunderstanding. I even made a video to cheer you up, but my editing skills are trash. It was a total disaster. Liang Dong was furious and was just about when Gu Yao cut him off without mercy. Don't even think about it. Already deleted. 3 minutes later, Liang Dong had dug up someone's profile on the forum. He found the video set to friends only. A little rubber chicken spot had writing all over it. Do you still love me like this? Your abs are the best. At the end, a big pair of lips filled the screen. Huang Dong watched it 5 times without saying a word. Just then, Gu Yao, who had already said goodnight, suddenly sent another voice message. We're basically together now. You don't have to be so formal with. I thought something serious had happened. And then, a 15-second voice message came back. It felt like someone whispering right against her ear. Whose else would I be looking at, if not yours? Should she give her blind date access to her social media or not? But if he saw her real photos, he found out that the catfishing account Zhao was just pulling his leg. Better to just put him in a separate group. Gu Yao took a photo of Han doing a peace sign with a violin in the background. Then she posted it set to visible only to the new group. Liang Dong liked it and returned the favor. He dropped a new photo on his own feed too. Gu Yao saved it. Ha, totally worth it. After school, Gu Yao called Liang Dong, but all she heard on the other end was heavy breathing. She asked what he was doing. He said he was timing still. Every heavy breath hit her eardrum with nothing in between. It made Gu Yao's heart pound like crazy. You thinking this way is a sin, just strike me down. Don't torture me when I can't see him or touch him. The next day, Gu Yao woke up with dark circles under her eye. That breathing from last night had been on a loop in her head all night long. She'd had to hug a pillow just to finally fall asleep in the middle of the night. So she called and told Liang Dong to take the elevator and stop climbing instead. But I thought you liked abs. I do. But you're putting way too much pressure on me. The two of them chatted for a bit. Then Gu Yao suddenly asked, right after we became friends I blocked you. Your mom said you thought your phone was broken. Don't tell me you actually took the thing apart. Liang Dong admitted it, but added that he doesn't do that anymore, because he found something he was way more interested in. Well, not exactly a something. Liang Dong had never really been interested in much of anything growing up. He mostly just went along with whatever his parents gave. But whatever it was, he was always the best and fastest kid in the group at it. He just never got attached or emotionally invested. The moment the next thing came along, he'd move on without a second thought. His therapist said it was a kind of decision paralysis. When he finally found the person who think he was truly interested, even if he looked completely unbothered on the outside, something intense was quietly building up inside. Gu Yao got a little scared. She asked if he might get hooked on socializing. It's a whole different world out there. All kinds of people. Don't go picking up any bad habits. She didn't expect Liang Dong to completely disarm her with love. Right now, the only thing I'm interested in is you. One afternoon when a heavy rain, Gu Yao was getting shoved around by the crowd. Peng Zhou was holding an umbrella, craning her neck and calling out to her Jing Shouji to come over. Then someone grabbed Gu Yao's arm from behind. Peng Zhou, I got your hand. Gu Yao, totally confused, got dragged under the umbrella, sandwiched right between two lovebirds. All 3 of them just stared at each other, could not have been more awkward. The wrong hand incident spread through the whole school fast. Gu Yao's phone wouldn't stop blowing up all afternoon. She didn't even need to look, they were all there to laugh at her. Especially seeing those two getting all lovey-dovey. It made Gu Yao even more furious. There's a performance tomorrow and they're out here goofing off. Ah, so annoying. Let me post something to blow off some steam. I just want to bury my face in my boyfriend's chest and cry it out. But she accidentally posted it to the new group without realizing it. Not long after, Liang Dong messaged her back. Miss me. Want me to come back? He said that while already packing his suitcase. On Christmas Day, Liang Dong booked a flight back to the capital. But he wasn't planning to tell Gu Yao. He was only back for one day and time was tight. He visited his grandfather first, who was seriously ill. He was about to make up some excuse about going to inspect a factory and being off the grid for a day because of bad signal. Then Gu Yao's video call came through. This was actually the first time the two had ever done a video call. But when it connected, the screen on the other end was completely dark. She could only faintly hear voices. It's connected. Lage, come look. Oh wow, he's super cute. Mixed in with our broken up sounds of sobbing and words pushing back. Don't look, hang up, that kind of thing. Liang Dong recognized Gu Yao's voice. His chest tightened immediately. Leia, what's wrong? After a long moment, the camera slowly let in some light. Just a glimpse of a neck and a chin that was slightly red. The person casually wiped the tears running down their cheek. Off muscle. Clearly had been crying for a while. I told them not to call you, they did it anyway. I was just tuning the pegs and the string snapped. It nicked my face, it's barely anything. Finally let out a breath of relief. Move back. Let me see. I look terrible, I don't want you to see. I'm not going on stage tomorrow. When Liang Dong realized his Leo was quite at the vain one. Say. But you kind of lied to me. You're at least 10,000 times cuter than your photo. Gu Yao covered his face, still sniffling as he spoke. You can't even see clearly, besides my face is all messed up now. Liang Dong traced his fingertip across the screen, following the image he'd been holding in his memory. Even if your face really is messed up, I still like you. What he didn't know was that the second the video call ended, Gu Yao had stopped crying entirely and was cracking up. Good thing I was quick enough. He looks even better in person than in his photos. The performance was about to begin. Gu Yao had no idea that Liang Dong, all the way across the country, had already changed his flight and was heading straight to his city. When he got to the school gate and texted Gu Yao, she replied instantly. You're finally here. I'm going on in a little bit. He never in a million years would have guessed that Liang was literally. Liang Dong walked into the packed concert hall. Using his height to his advantage, he had a clear view of the whole stage, but his eyes moved on their own, locking straight onto the person sitting on the far left intersection. Time folded in on itself. He was back to that winter, the first day he ever saw him. The guy had been sitting on a bench, kind of zoning out. A major he'd studied for half a year before being forced to transfer out. A family that kept making decisions for him. A physical exam he passed but that had already been voided. The pressure just kept piling on. Right when he was starting to feel like he couldn't breathe, a set of quick footsteps came closer. Then a slim guy sat down next to him. The guy noticed someone staring at him. He turned and asked Liang Dong, not too friendly, what he was looking at. Turned back, a whole mix of feelings swirling inside. Have I really changed that much? There's no way to recognize. I still remember his name clear as day. Then a memory hit, playing with Transformers together 12 years ago. He was about to use that as an opening to reveal who he was. But the guy beat him to it. Did you choke on the test? Is that why you didn't get it? Or is it like me? Not just choking but also can't afford to study here anyway. Liang Dong shook his head and was about to say something. But the guy suddenly stood up. Either way we ran into each other. That means something. Let me play you a piece. Go home tonight and get some sleep. Don't sit here feeling sorry for yourself. That was when it clicked for Liang Dong. So this is what it feels like to be sad. Sadness is an emotion, but it was one Liang Dong had never felt before. That was why he never fit in anywhere. Normally he would never waste time sitting through someone else's music. But this time he sat there and listened to every note, just like back then. What drew Liang Dong in wasn't the music. It was the same person, then and now, standing right in front of him. This was the first time they had truly met. After the orchestra's performance ended, Gu Yao was happily chatting with classmates in the audience. And Liang Dong stood not far away, eyes full of warmth, just watching him. Just as Liang Dong was about to walk up and say hi, his phone rang. His driver said they had to leave right now or he'd miss the flight. As much as he didn't want to pull himself away from that smiling face, he held back and didn't go over. After all, before he could get his grandfather on, this wasn't the right time to meet Leo. He just had someone else pass along the gift he prepared. As Gu Yao hummed to himself while packing up his instrument, a younger student suddenly ran over. Hey, someone asked me to give this to you. Gu Yao paused and asked her who sent it. A really tall guy in a black coat, and he was absolutely gorgeous. He didn't look like he goes here. That's when Gu Yao remembered the tall guy leaning against the door. When the performers were taking their bows and heading off stage, he had the face as he'd seen that person somewhere before, but the lighting was too dim to make out the face. He figured it was probably just a fan, but when he took the paper wrap package and he found the rare limited edition record from his idol hat. He completely lost it, couldn't hold back his reaction at all. He wished he could sprout wings and fly home to play it on the record player, and find whoever sent the gift, and give them the biggest kiss. He said bye to the younger student, slung his violin on his back and walked quickly out of sight. He stopped the moment he reached the gate. Something cold and light landed on the tip of his nose. He wiped it with his hand and melted it. It was snowing. So beautiful. He had to share this with Liang Dong right away. When Liang Dong got the short video Gu Yao sent, there were only 5 minutes left before his flight. He saw snow all the time abroad, so it wasn't anything special to him. He sent a voice message back to her. If it snows every winter like this, are you bragging to me right now? No, I want to bring you here to see it. But what he was thinking was, you're way prettier than any snowflake. His mother had already called several times telling him to hurry home. Otherwise he really would have wanted to stay with Lil for the night and fly back tomorrow. Back home, every relative was showing off their kids. All the back and forth chats about whether if he ever brought someone home, his grandson should call that person a grandson-in-law or granddaughter-in-law. What should have been a nice family dinner turned into a whole minefield. Even if his grandfather couldn't wrap his head around his choices, having his mom and dad in his corner was enough. Then he called Gu Yao. They talked about their dreams. Liang Dong said he wanted to be a pilot. Gu Yao said with a big grin that he wanted to drive a street sweeper truck. The only thing their dreams had in common was that both involved vehicles. But Liang Dong was genuinely happy just to have found anything at all in common with Gu Yao. To get Gu Yao to sing for him, Liang Dong made up a harmless little white lie. Sure enough, they got Gu Yao feeling sorry for them. Spending Christmas all by yourself, that's rough. Fine, I'll do it. But you are not allowed to laugh at my pronunciation. Gu Yao's relaxed and easy a cappella drifted into his ear. Liang Dong made up his mind. He was changing his flight tomorrow. No matter what, he was gonna meet Gu Yao in person.